ओके, सो लेट्स स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द जनरल फिजियोलॉजी. सबसे पहले जो हमारा टोटल बॉडी वाटर होता है दैट इज़ 60% ऑफ अ बॉडी वेट. फॉर एग्जांपल, if there is a 70 kg man, then 60% of 70 kg, which is 42 kilogram, which is equivalent to 42 liters of water. So the total body weight water will so total body water weight will be 42 kg. After that, after this, the total body water is divided into two compartments: intracellular fluid and extracellular fluid. Intracellular fluid is 2/3 of the total body water and extracellular fluid is 1/3. Now this intracellular fluid will make 40% of total body water and extracellular will form 20% of total body water. This extracellular fluid is again divided into three compartments, which is plasma, interstitial fluid and transcellular fluid. Plasma is 5%, interstitial fluid is 15% and transcellular fluid is less than 1.5%. Now this transcellular fluid is pleural fluid, pericardial fluid, peritoneal fluid, joint fluid, CSF, GI humor, etc. Now, what are the factors affecting total body water? Firstly, with increase in age, total body water decreases. With increase in fat, total body water decreases. Then, in female, there is more fat, so total body water is 50% of the total body weight. Then how do we measure this body fluid compartments? So the technique used is dye dilution technique, also known as principle of volume distribution. So in a container, we give Q known quantity of suitable dye or any indicator or tracer, and then we withdraw the sample whose concentration is C. So the volume of that fluid compartment will be Q minus E by C, where Q is the quantity which we gave, E is the amount of dye metabolized or excreted, and C is the concentration of the withdrawn sample. So there are some fluid which we give intravenously and they do not cross the blood vessel. So they only measure the plasma volume, and such dyes are Evans blue, radioactive iodine, or labeled albumin. Then there are some dyes which do not go inside the cell, so they measure both plasma plus interstitial fluid, okay, which is ECF. And these dyes are inulin, mannitol, sucrose and radioactive sodium. And some dyes go to both plasma, interstitial fluid and cells. They measure total body water, and such dyes are heavy water, tritium oxide, aminopyrine. And the most frequently used is D2O. So for measurement of plasma, we have Evans blue. For measurement of ECF, we have inulin. And for measurement of total body water, we have heavy water. Okay, so after that, whole blood is 8% of body weight and plasma is 5% of body weight. Blood volume is plasma volume plus RBC volume. So we know how to calculate plasma volume. Similarly, RBC volume is calculated by radioactive chromium labeled RBC. And the formula for calculating blood volume is 100 by 100 minus hemocrit into plasma volume. Okay, so hemocrit is normally 40. What is hemocrit? It is proportion by volume of the blood that consists of RBC. So if hemocrit is 40%, it means there are 40 ml RBC in 100 ml of blood. Then 1 osmol is 1 mole divided by number of freely moving particles liberated in the solution. Okay, so how much is the normal plasma osmolality? It is 280 to 290 milliosmol per liter. Okay, so whenever there is increase in plasma osmolarity, it stimulates osmoreceptor. Okay, which are these are present in anterior hypothalamus, known as OVLT. Abbreviated form is OVLT, which is named organum vasculosum of lamina terminalis. It is a circumventricular organ. So now they are stimulated when there is increase in plasma osmolality. So, osmoreceptors stimulate two types of nucleus in our CNS. If the osmolarity is increased by 5 milliosmol per liter, then this stimulates supraoptic nucleus, which increase ADH, which produce concentrated urine. And if it increases by 10 milliosmol per liter, it will stimulate lateral hypothalamus, which will increase thirst. Now, maximum contribution to plasma osmolarity is given by sodium and its constituted anions. Then the common formula for plasma osmolarity is 2 times addition of sodium and potassium concentration. Okay, so now what is osmotic adaptation? So whenever ECF osmolarity changes, then there is osmotic adaptation which is seen. First of all, if there is chronic hypernatremia, means osmolality of ECF is increasing. So what happens? Brain cells also increase osmolality. So how do they increase osmolality? They import sodium and increase the intracellular synthesis of osmolytes. What are these osmolytes? Betaine, inositol and glutamine. And the opposite will happen in chronic hyponatremia. So see, in hyponatremia, we see that there is decreased intracellular synthesis of osmolyte. So glutamine will be converted to glutamate, and glutamate is excitatory neurotransmitter which will lead to seizures. And in patients of chronic hyper or hyponatremia, we do not do rapid correction of ECF. If we do rapid correction, it will lead to central pontine myelinosis. So why? Because ECF will be corrected, but ICF value will be low only due to osmotic adaptation of brain cell. So as soon as ECF is corrected, brain cell starts shrinking, which lead to myelinosis. Myelinosis is disintegration of myelin sheath. Okay, so in ECF, major cation is sodium, major anion is chloride, most osmotically active is sodium, and most abundant buffer is bicarbonate, which is also the important buffer. And in ICF, we have potassium, phosphate, and most abundant buffer is phosphate, but most important buffer is protein. And because cellular metabolism produces H+, so its pH is lower than ECF. So 1 milliosmol generate an osmotic pressure of 19.3 millimeter of Hg. So 290 milliosmols will generate 5500 millimeters of mercury pressure. So now what are the Starling force? We know there are push force and pull force. Push force is the hydrostatic pressure and the pull force is the colloidal osmotic pressure. Net pressure is 11 millimeter of mercury. Now rate of tissue fluid formation, what is the tissue fluid? Tissue fluid is interstitial fluid. It is directly proportional to the net pressure, and Kf is the ultrafiltration constant, which is product of permeability into surface area. Okay, so now in the patient of varicose vein, there is greater back pressure, so it increases the hydrostatic pressure, which will lead to edema. So now organ with the maximum capillary hydrostatic pressure is kidney, maximum Kf it is kidney, but most permissible capillary is present in liver, because in liver there are sinusoidal capillaries and in glomerulus there are fenestrated capillaries. In right heart failure we see pedal edema, and in left heart failure we see pulmonary edema.